Hey guys, I want to send this quick video out talking about cost segregation and some conversations I've been having with my clients on their objections and potential objections towards the cost segregation tax strategy. Now, some of you may know with the cost segregation study, we are front loading our depreciation to the earlier years to see those benefits in the earlier years. Now, if we can see the benefits of the cost segregation and using those depreciation write-offs in the earlier years, those are really times where it makes sense to do the cost segregation studies. But here are two of the objections that I've been receiving. One was that if you sell the properties after doing a cost segregation study, you are going to have more depreciation recapture. The second one I get is because we're front loading our depreciation with cost seg, we run the risk and the possibility that we're going to wind up paying more taxes on that rental activity in future years because we will run out of depreciation or have less depreciation in the future. So let's address these two objections. First, the depreciation recapture. You're absolutely correct that if we sell a property after doing a cost segregation study, we have more depreciation to recapture. In addition to that, the depreciation recapture that we have to recapture the bonus depreciation on those properties is going to be taxed at your marginal rate and not the favorable capital gains tax rate. Now, what can we do to mitigate depreciation recapture? A lot of people say 1031 exchange. That is one of many capital gains tax strategies. However, when we do a 1031 exchange, we still have to recognize depreciation recapture on those components we've identified and written off for bonus depreciation with the cost segregation study, because when we run a cost segregation study, we are identifying certain properties as being non-real estate. And therefore, when we exchange, and we can only exchange real estate for real estate with a 1031 exchange. So those non-real estate items that we have potential cost depreciation recapture, we're still going to have to worry about the depreciation recapture with a 1031 exchange. So yes, there is a risk of having that depreciation recapture. But here is my counter argument to that objection. First, we can mitigate the depreciation recapture by evaluating the fair market value of those components at the time of the disposition. And therefore, we may be able to say, well, the current value of maybe all these 5 and 15 year life properties is not equal to the amount that we've written off, because since we wrote off maybe $10,000 of that initial value of your driveway, at the time we're selling it is not really worth $10,000 anymore, because since then it has diminished in value. So maybe instead of recapturing the full $10,000 of depreciation, maybe we say that it's only worth $5,000, trying to keep the number simple here, and now our recapture is only $5,000. Also, if we're doing a 1031 exchange into another property, hopefully we're using leverage and 1031 exchanging into a larger property. Now, some people say you can't do this, but if you read the fine print and can think strategically, we can actually run a cost segregation study on that new property and utilize a higher basis and have access to new components that we can write off for bonus depreciation. And then that bonus depreciation can offset the recapture of the other property. So there are ways to mitigate this. Now, let's say we sell the property in 10 years down the road. Okay, sure, even without a 1031 and the recapture, we still want to consider the net present value of that cash now, and in the future. We run a cost segregation study now, and we may free up additional capital to buy another cash flowing rental property, or even do a cost segregation study on that new property because we freed up capital with the cost seg. So we're using this to accelerate the growth of our portfolio and access new assets that will further generate depreciation and tax benefits from us. So even if we have recapture in the future, we're still going to take advantage of having this capital now to invest now and have cash flow now. So there's still value here. Now, let's talk about the other objection here, which is that we're going to run out of depreciation in the future. And you are correct in that if we are front loading this depreciation with the cost segs now, we're going to have less depreciation in the future for those properties. But this is how I think we should think about this. Now, first, going back to what I was just saying, the time value of money here, right? If we can free up some cash now, if it makes sense to do the cost seg, whether it's we have rep status or we materially participate in some short-term rentals where the average length of stay is 7 days or less, if it makes sense and we can free up some capital to reinvest, it'll still make sense because we would rather have the cash and the tax savings now to reinvest and activate and utilize our capital and have it grow and compound over time. We're going to see greater benefit from that cash now than from writing off that getting that depreciation write-off over the next 27.5 or 39 years. It's a long time to see the benefits of your write-offs. I think we should rather get these write-offs now and reinvest it now and activate and leverage our capital, our cash to our best abilities now so it'll grow over time and compound over time and generate the write-offs. Now, one of my clients is not, at least at this point, doesn't seem to be incredibly interested in growing a massive portfolio. So he's concerned that he won't have depreciation in the future. And he may not plan to reinvest and create additional assets to generate depreciation. So here's some ways we can think about this. We do the cost segs now. We free up the capital. We reinvest. And let's say we don't even want to buy more real estate. So maybe we don't have future depreciation. Well, we can invest in syndications. So maybe if our bandwidth isn't significant, if we don't have enough bandwidth to really grow a portfolio, we can invest passively with the cash we've obtained from these cost tags in the form of a refund and invest in some syndications. Now we're passively receiving some of that depreciation there and the tax benefits of that. We could also potentially invest in other types of vehicles. Maybe you want to invest in stocks or cryptocurrency or whatever it is. Use your cash and put it to work and take advantage of these tax savings. So even if we do wind up paying some taxes in the future when we run out of depreciation, if we stop investing, we're still going to see the benefits in the fact that we've freed up some capital earlier on and activated that capital into other investment vehicles that have helped us generate wealth over time. So those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts and if you still object to cost segregation studies. Oh, and one more thing I want to point out with cost segregation. We may find an opportunity to use those losses to offset other sources of income, whether it be capital gains from your rental portfolio or other sources of passive income. So lots of things to talk about with cost seg. I'm thinking about doing a webinar on advanced cost segregation strategies and thinking about some outside of the box ways we can look at this thing. Maybe get Yona Weiss on or someone else. Let me know your thoughts if you have any questions. We'll keep in touch. Hope you guys are all saving some money on your taxes and having fun investing in real estate. We'll keep in touch and I'll be providing some more content shortly. Have a good day.